May I also invite Dr. Nonigopal Mahanta, Advisor Education to the Government of Assam, to please come to the dais. Mr. Pramod Boro, Chief of the Borland Territorial Region, Assam. Mr. Pradyut Dev Burma, Royal Scion and founder of the Tea Pramotha. Former Ambassador of India to Syria and Afghanistan and Myanmar, Dr. Gautam Mukhopadhyay. And BJP leader and author, Mr. Monlu Mokikon. A big round of applause for all our panelists today. Before we begin the discussions, may I invite now our respected chairperson of Prides Group, Ms. Riniki Bhuya Sharma, ma'am, and our editor-in-chief, Wasbir Hussain, sir, on stage to felicitate our esteemed panelists. Yes. The felicitation program now, I request Riniki ma'am to felicitate Miani D. Shira, the young MLA from Meghalaya, who is amidst us today. I request Mr. Wasbir Hussain to felicitate Ambassador Gautam Mukhopadhyay. I also request Wasbir sir to felicitate Dr. Nonigopal Mahanta. Dr. Nonigopal Mahanta. And I request CMD Riniki Bhuya Sharma ma'am to felicitate Mr. Pramod Boro. I also request ma'am to felicitate Mr. Pradyut Dev Burma. May I now request Wasbi sir to kindly felicitate Mr. Momlumo Kikon. Thank you. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you. Thank you, sir. I would now like to request our Atrian Chief, Mr. Wasbi Hussain, to say a few words. Welcome, sir.
A very good morning to all of you, ladies and gentlemen. Esteemed panelists on the dais, we have Mr. Pramod Boro, the Chief of the Bodoland Territorial Council, a very dynamic youth leader from Assam who has seen it all actually, leading a mass movement and then forming a political party, getting elected, and now taking care or looking after the Bodoland Territorial Council comprising almost 2 million people and 4 districts. We have with us Mr. Pradut Deb Burman. Pradut is, of course, as you all know, the Royal Scion of Tripura, founder of Tripura Motha, a very dynamic personality who is a very non-conventional politician, doesn't mince words, but a very good to talk to. Welcome, Pradut. We have with us Ambassador Gautam Mukhopadhyay, who knows the Northeast almost like the back of his hand, having been our ambassador in Myanmar until recently, until a couple of years ago. He was, of course, our ambassador in Syria and Afghanistan, 2 of the hotspots. And he is basically, if I may take the liberty to say before you, the son-in-law of the Northeast. And he is somebody who cares for the region, who knows the region, and has a very, very strong bonding with the region. And that is the reason he is here on the dais today. We have Mr. Momlumo Kikon. He is the BJP's national spokesperson, but that is not his only identity. He is an author, having only recently authored a very interesting book that is titled His Majesty's Headhunters. He had just, straight from the Jaipur Literary Fest, he is here. Welcome, Momlumo. And we have with us Dr. Nani Gopal Mahanto, well-known academic, one of the most respected scholars of Assam. He is now, of course, the education advisor to the government of Assam. And we have the young MLA from Meghalaya, from Garo Hills, Miani D. Shira. Miani comes from a very well-known political family from Meghalaya. Her father was the chief minister for 2 terms and is a prominent political personality. And Miani has been working relentlessly for the upliftment of her people in her area as well as the state. Ladies and gentlemen, today is the 6th anniversary of our channel Northeast Live. On this day in 2018, we got as a satellite news channel. We are the only English and Hindi satellite news channel covering the whole of the Northeast. So our priority is the region. Of course, we cover everything else, but I can say that we are for the people and by the people of the Northeastern region, and that is why we are proud to represent the Northeast. And as our tagline says, it is your station, your voice. All this is possible because of the vision of our chairperson, Ms. Riniki Bhuya Sharma. She has been telling us, although I am associated with this channel for the last 6 years since its inception, but I have been associated with the Priorities Group for around 15 years now. And always our chairperson has been telling us that we should have a channel that can feel the pulse of the people of the region, that caters to the interest of the region, that highlights the problems and aspirations of the people of the region. And that is the reason why we are here today. And on this occasion, I'd like to primarily thank each one of our viewers across the Northeast and outside. And it is because of the love and blessings of our viewers that we are here today. I'd not like to prolong because we have a panel discussion, and straight away, I'd like to invite our digital media head of Northeast Live, Oinita Moja, and our news editor, Nabarun Goswami, both accomplished journalists, to come and conduct this session. Over to Oinitam and Nabarun. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, all of you, for being here this lovely morning. And just that before we start, we would like to take a look back at our glorious 6 years, a small audiovisual coming up for all of you.
February 6th, 2018, Northeast India saw a new dawn.
মজিয়া বনোৱা হয় লৰালি কালৰ বাবে লৈ আহক নিমেৰে প্ৰস্তুত নিমাইল ইয়াৰ 100% প্ৰাকৃতিক ক্ৰিয়াই মজিয়া কৰি তোলে সেফ নিমাইল খুব শান্তিৰ মজিয়া
Sweet, salty, spicy. Britannia 50-50 গোলমাল
Sir, ৰান কেনেকৈ বনাও
গোলমাল কৰা
Sir, আপুনি মাক কিমান ভাল পায়
মাক ইমান
Aru, it is wine.
বিস্কুটত কালজিৰাৰ চমৎকাৰ চাল ব্ৰিটানিয়া 50-50 গোলমাল
Don't miss the gutsy, witty one-on was very clear with her vision for the channel. Northeast Live was to be a platform where all 8 states are given equal importance. Special care was to be taken to ensure that the region's only English and Hindi satellite news channel is not one state-centric and truly depicts the voice of the whole region. The mandate was to strive to become a platform which the people of the Northeast can truly call their own.
We are taking a huge step of going across the 8 states of the entire Northeastern region, touching the 45 million viewers with a new channel, Northeast Live.
Led from the front by Editor-in-Chief Wasbir Hussain, a veteran journalist with nearly 4 decades of experience, Northeast Live made big strides soon after its launch with the exhaustive coverage of assembly elections in the 3 states of Meghalaya, Nagaland and Tripura, and subsequent reportage of the crucial elections in Mizoram the same year. There has been no looking back for your channel since these mega coverage as we moved from strength to strength with the sole motive of highlighting people's interests from all corners of the region. Yes, we soon became a household name. In a bid to tell the stories as they are, Northeast Live correspondents have travelled to the remotest corners of the region against all odds. From a detailed coverage of a coal mine tragedy in Meghalaya back in 2018, to going all the way to the Chinese frontier in the year 2022 to highlight the voice of a family whose son was abducted by People's Liberation Army of China, Northeast Live has always been on a mission to be the voice of the region. The Tupul landslide tragedy, the Oting killings and the subsequent call for repeal of AFSPA in Nagaland, the Sikkim glacial burst tragedy, the Tipramotha agitation and the unfortunate unrest in Manipur for months, Northeast Live correspondents have been in the thick of action at all times in line with our motto of presenting news as it is while keeping the interest of the people above everything else. Our flagship show, Northeast Tonight, hosted by Editor-in-Chief Wasbir Hussain, brought top newsmakers on one platform, debating on key issues, people's aspirations, politics, development, and much more. Talk Time with Wasbir Hussain, which is among India's longest-running talk shows, is also a signature program of our group.
Welcome to the special show, Dr. Kalam.
Thank you, SB.
Mr. Ratan Tata, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Mr. Adi Godres, welcome to my
Thank
show.
you. Good talking to you.
Ustad Zakir Hussain Saab, welcome to my show.
Thank you very much, sir.
Mr. A. Rahman, welcome to the program.
Thank you.
Anticipate what is going to happen.
Your channel has also been at the forefront in celebrating the success of achievers from the region in the field of sports, music, entertainment, and much more. Over the years, our digital platform has also seen a sharp increase in reach, topping the charts in terms of Facebook and YouTube engagements among English regional digital platforms. As we turn 6, we renew our commitment to serve the region and the nation at large with honesty, zeal, and dedication.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you for being here. And let's start the session, the first session this lovely morning, the first Northeast Live Conclave happening here in Guwahati. First of all, I would like to welcome all of you, our dear panelists here, Miyani Dishira, Ambassador Mukhopadhyay, Professor Mahanta, Pramod Boroji, Pradyut, and Mullo Mokikon. And of course, me and Noborun are going to host this panel. Barring Professor Mahanta and Ambassador Mukhopadhyay, all of you, the 4 of you, are political leaders. So, all right, we are going to get to that in a while, Mundomo. I would like to start by asking, all you political leaders, you contest elections against each other, you speak in divergent voices, but when it comes to Northeast interests, issues related to Northeast, can we expect all of you to, come together as one single voice? Can I put this question first to Pradyut?
I mean, your question being that can we all unite and speak in one voice for the people of Northeast?
Yes.
Well, if I was giving the same answer maybe 10 years ago, I probably would have said yes. But I'm not here to mislead people or lie to people in front of the television.
Yeah.
It is very difficult to speak in one voice. Even in your own family, you don't speak in one voice. But yes, there are a lot of things where we can come together where our agendas are similar. So I see that we don't have anyone from Manipur, but it's very difficult to speak in one voice from Manipur as of today. In Tripura, we have a bit of polarization, so it's very difficult to speak for the whole of Tripura. But then there are many issues where we can come together, which affects all of us. Whether it is development, whether it is communication, whether it is education, health sector, our economy, jobs, also about preserving our distinct identity and culture. Today, if Pradyut can stand up with Assam and speak proudly for Assam, one day someone from Assam will speak proudly for the indigenous Tripuris in Tripura. The fact is that we need to help each other out rather than compete with each other. Our numbers are too small. We are hardly significant in the so-called democratic arena of India. maybe an Uttar Pradesh or a Chhattisgarh or a Madhya Pradesh or a Bihar, Bengal have far bigger numbers. But it is very important that, yeah.
So that probably is an important reason why the leaders from the Northeast, cutting across party lines, should unite, or as you very nicely put it, probably uniting on issues. Mr. Pramod Boro, you would like to add to it?
Thank you very much. It's an important issue. We have a conflict of interest, and it is not created in last few months or years. Since we can see that Northeast was united once, so it's broke into 7 sisters. So now we are thinking of uniting. So from where we want to start the reunion of the people of the Northeast, from top or bottom, and how to address this conflict of interest? Because if you stand in Delhi and you discuss something on the nation, then it covers all the entered India. When we stand in Delhi and you mention that is nation, then it's all India. And when you come to notice and you speak of nation, then it is one community, one tribe. So we as a community, we are a single community, but we call us a nation. Bodo nation, Tripura nation, all are called them nation. So in that situation, after 75 years of independence, why nation failed to understand this kind of conflict of interest and issues? That's in one part of the country, which is very important. That is one. So, what do you want to know from us? What is the present states of our mind? What we are thinking now? In present time, we want to be united. This is the call of the time, call of the hour. We must be united for many reasons. One, alone we cannot progress. Neither we can protect our identity and culture unless we have support and help from each other.
Absolutely.
And also, we have to either educate the people who are in the policy making body, or to make them understand that why these kind of issues are still exist, why Tripura is saying something and this community is saying something. These are all the Indian communities and they are native people, they are the indigenous people, but despite of that, why their issues are not addressed? So socially, culturally, as a human being, we want to be united anytime. Yeah. But there are certain issues which you cannot address, sitting in one place unless you have intervention from,
Yes.
Again, yeah.
See, what I'm trying to say and what he's saying, the same thing. We cannot survive in isolation. Nobody survives in isolation. But another point which I agree with what Pramod is saying, and I'm sure most of the panelists will at some point adhere to, the entire region of Northeast was viewed as a strategic part of India. It is an integral part of India. You have tried to, if you want the country to look at Northeast, they should also look at us from the point of view of our culture, our cuisine, the way of life. What's happened is, in fact, I was telling this to one of the senior government of India officials, you only react when a bomb blows off. You only react when there's violence.
Again, Mr. Kikon, if I can...
No, let me just finish this. My point is that the new generation of Northeast, the leaders, the people, we are aspirational. We want to join hands. We don't want to miss out when India is rising. And for that, we have to unite because our common interests will have to unite so that we can march ahead. Otherwise, we'll be left far behind. So we have to set aside our petty differences and look at positives where we can actually be a part of the nation building or be a part of a nation where we are ignored. So we have no other option but to be together.
But again, don't you think something has changed?
Just a second, please, don't mind.
Yeah.
I will add one point here. That's from my experience. Now, transformation is started. Earlier, what happened, I am a long-time activist. From childhood, I am associated with Bodo movement. So, at the time, what my realization was, after meeting many, the bureaucrats and politicians in that time, government and politicians or the bureaucrats, they think, of peace just to run the system. If there is any problems in running the system, they intervene. If there is no any problems in running the system, but still there is problem, they don't intervene. Now we can see the transformation in the top leadership, like Modi ji, and regional leader like present our CM. They are thinking out of box. Why there is no any rally, no dharna, no burning in Assam? Because we can see now the transformation is happening in the leadership. So that transformation will start in the society also. Then only we can think of that kind of change.
Just coming to that, Mr. Kiko, in the last 10 years, things have changed. It's like कि धमाका हुआ तो Northeast का खबर आ रहा है. PM Modi, the ministers have visited more than 50 times. It's being called the Ashtalakshmi. And yes, the communication has improved. Infrastructure has improved. And the communication between Delhi and the Northeast has definitely improved. And coming to, again, issue-based unity, Nagaland as one state we have seen. Say, for instance, the Naga issue. Every party, be it the Congress, be it the BJP, be it the NPP, be it the NDPP, NPF, everybody is united at least on the Naga issue. They have to. So yes, there is enough scope because there are enough issues in the Northeast which are common.
You put it well. I would like to draw your attention to a little bit of history because we need to compare then and now. Look at my 3 seconds of the review of history of the Northeast, since we are talking about Northeast. We'll start from just prior to independence. Lokpriya Gopinath Bordoloi stand on Assam, because that time there was the Manipur kingdom, Tripura kingdom, and the Assam encompassed the whole of Northeast. The British India Assam. And it continued well after the independence. So if you look at the stand he took for the protection, preservation of the region, that's one seminal moment in history. Second is, prior to, say, the various states being created in the region, starting from Nagaland, the promulgation of AFSPA in 1958 is one event which has impacted the region. So, I'm just taking you back to those moments to show you where we were and where we are now. Third is the 1962 incursion of China into the entire, they came till Tezpur. And I'm sorry to say that rather than giving us the required protection as part of India, the then Prime Minister only said that my heart goes out to the people of Assam. That was the attitude of the center. The fourth would be today, the 10 years that you mentioned. At the center of India's future and India's politics, Northeast has been placed at the core of every discussion in terms of development. India cannot develop without Northeast developing. That is the theme today. So if you look at all this and you view today, what you have said is right. There are enough interests. The problems that exist today, most of which are colonial hangovers, we are trying to address. I'll just give one example before I hand over to you. One, in the past, as a Naga from Assam border, bordering Assam, there were a lot of issues. We had, my constituency itself had the Merapani issue, recently as 2014, there were some issues at the border. So I would not have imagined, and I didn't imagine then, as a young student, that we would be discussing as brothers, as neighbors, about demarcating a border between the 4 states. Because we have common cause. Unless we work together, there is no future for this region. And that is understood by everyone. When I meet anybody from the Northeast or anybody related to Northeast, outside of Northeast, we are like one family.
Right.
And that feeling is there in everyone. I think we have to develop on those common grounds and common issues that actually identifies, because outsiders, outside of Northeast, will look at you as, ye to Northeast ka hai. They are together. They are different from us. So I think when that othering by others is already
normal process. I think that itself is one reason why we have to get together to ensure that our future is better than the past. So on that ground, today you talk about Assam Chief Minister. I mean, he is not the Chief Minister of Assam alone. Today he is taking a holistic approach towards the development of entire Northeast. He is able to show the leadership that we want from Assam. He is not a sectarian leader, he is not a leader of just one state. I mean, I want all our leaders to have that approach and that attitude, and I think that is something we need to harp on. And I think this conclave is right in starting with this particular question.
Thank you so much. So, Mayani, we will come to you, but Noborun, let's go across to Ambassador Mukhopadhyay and Professor Mahanta. Maybe you would want to, keeping with the topic of unity and Northeast, maybe you would like to put across a question to Ambassador Mukhopadhyay?
Yeah, basically, Northeast today has been talked as one entity, especially in the center. They look at it as Northeast, the 8 states. But is Northeast one entity? That's the question that probably people in the region ask. Can there be one single policy for the entire Northeast? Or the 8 states have different needs, different requirements, different issues, and they need separate policies? Can we tag just Northeast as one for the sake of it? Or there is a thought behind it which is working? Yes, in certain terms it can be plus as one entity, but also, as just mentioned by our speakers here starting, that the issues are also different.
Would you like me to?
Yes, yes.
Well, thank you very much, Narun. And before I answer your question, let me thank Mrs. Rinki Bhuiya Sharma, Pride East Media, Wasbir Hussain for inviting me, and congratulations to all of you for your 6th birthday and celebrating this conclave. And I'm really sort of happy that I've been regarded or accepted as a son-in-law, but let me also say that I'm new to the Northeast, and so please take my comments in that spirit. So I think the first thing that I would say to your question is, really the Northeast is not just a biological diversity hotspot, it's also a cultural diversity hotspot. And that together with its natural properties, natural bounty, most of all land, water, forests, and sun, are its greatest resources of all. So if we have to think of progress, and please, the title of this session is Politics and Progress, we have to think of progress as well. If we have to think of progress, progress has to be seen in terms of progress of each of these components of this great cultural hotspot and diversity. That means in some ways what we have to do is we have to expand the space intellectually, morally, ethically, politically, culturally, educationally, technologically, for all this diversity to prosper. I would say that along with this diversity comes a lot of, I wouldn't say necessarily conflict, but rivalry, competition for land, competition for histories, competition for identity. And these are things that are works in progress. But the kind of approach that we take, which is an approach of inclusion or an approach of exclusion, I think that is going to be the single greatest determinant of both politics and progress in the Northeast.
Right. Professor Mahanta, what are your thoughts? Do you think the region is Northeast ready to work and move ahead together as one single entity? What do you make? What are the key takeaways as far as Centre's approach for the region over the past decade has been? What are the key takeaways? What do you think?
Thank you so much, and my profound gratitude to all of you for having invited me to take part in this conclave. Well, this is an important topic, Northeast being represented as one voice, or whether we can talk cohesively. Well, if you look anthropologically, we have about more than 270 ethnic social groups, 185 languages. So this amount of heterogeneity is really, it is very unlikely in any other parts of the world with this amount of diversity. That this very coexistence with cooperation exemplify the very essence of Northeastern region, that we can manage diversity, we can negotiate diversity, which is the basic essence of democracy and multiculturalism. So that way, but unfortunately, previously, look at the period of British period, Northeast region was one of the most globalized region in the world. Through tea and oil, through Chittagong port, we had connection with the outside world, with 4% more above national income of the region. But look at the post-independence period. From land-linked region, it has become a landlocked region. It was conspicuous by a dependency syndrome, insurgency, rebel, armed violence, alienation, so-called stepmotherly attitude. And this was the essence of Northeast India in the 60s, 70s, and 80s. But for last 14, 15 years, there is a transformative politics which is happening in Northeast India in general and Assam in particular. Thanks to the conceptual framework called Ramdhenu Khodrik Rajniti, which is called, Ramdhenu is the basic conceptual approach that exemplifies that new spirit of transformative politics in Northeast India, mainly as many of our speakers have said. Dr. Himanta Biswa Sarma exemplifies that new personification of politics. That Ramdhenu politics, it exemplifies what? That all of us have our distinct color. Nobody wants to get submerged. Nobody wants to put under the carpet. Everybody wants to have their identities. While respective identity, it is also important to talk about cooperation. There is competition also. It's not that BJP will be given a free cake or run in Meghalaya or even in Tripura. No. They will compete, but at the same time, spirit of cooperation. That, look at the 24, 25 MPs from the region. When these MPs speak together in parliament for the infrastructure projects, for the overarching progress, what is progress? What is politics? Politics, as David Easton said, who gets what? Loswell said, who gets what, when, and how. It is the authoritative allocation of values in the society, as David Easton said. What is progress? Progress is not just economic development. Right. Progress is not just industrialization. We are the biodiverse hotspot of the region, of the world. So we need to protect our ecology. We need to protect our sustainable development. All these aspects have been discussed in NEDA because I had the opportunity to be part of NEDA in many such meetings. So it's not just a political meeting. Yes. It is also about the progress of the region. It is about human development. At the same time, having, develop, or you try to develop a healthy competition amongst ourselves. Right. But at the same time, talking about intra-regional cooperation, yes, inter-regional cooperation, which has been highlighted by BJP's approach. Now, what is this BJP's approach? So I would call it from the periphery to the core. That is the transformative politics. Udayan Mishra has written a book called Periphery Strikes Back. How does periphery strike back? Through insurgency, through rebellion. But this periphery has now come to the core. That is the transformative politics. That is Modi's politics. Look at the investment in highway. Look at the investment in highway. Look at the investment in railways, transportation. That is new Northeast India. Till yesterday, it was looked down upon as a burden. But today, Northeast is looked out as a Astalakshmi, with immense potentiality. Look at it has become the hub of foreign politics, Actis policy, yes, BIMSTEC, Bay of Bengal initiative, Ganga Mekong initiative. All these today inspire Northeast region, and that is the potential Northeast.
Absolutely. Would you want to go? I wanted to bring in Miani here, and as a young political leader on the panel, wanted to hear your thoughts quickly.
Thank you, Oidini. Thank you for having me here. So I'll just make a quick point here. After listening to all of the speakers here, I think we all made valid points. But for me, I think as leaders of the Northeast, we need to understand each other first. I think most of the time, people from outside, people from different parts of the country look at us as one block, as Northeast. But we all know how diverse the region is. But if we don't educate ourselves, if the leaders don't understand the other ethnic groups, their issues, then we cannot come together to bring our point across to the leaders in the center. Now, we know that Northeast is a small area. We have a very small population. To make our points, to make our issues be heard, we need to come together. And we have all seen that as a single community, we cannot make our voice be heard. So what I'm saying is that it is important for us to understand as leaders today that we have to stand in solidarity with the issues that other ethnic groups may have, other states may have, and understand that we need to come together first and then expect others to see us in a different light.
And these diversities are also within a state. You come from a region which still aspires for development, for growth, despite giving the most number of chief ministers to Meghalaya, the Garo Hills. What do you think is the reason for that? Why has Garo Hills lagged behind in a way?
The reason is quite simple and also complex in the sense that, Garo Hills is, if you look at the capital city, Shillong, it's in the Khasi Hills. So for development to stretch out to other parts of the state, it takes time because the main developmental activities will start from the capital. But in the past few years, in the past 15 years, I think we have seen that the developmental activities have spread out. And in Garo Hills, we are seeing changes, and it cannot be done overnight, obviously, and it is happening. So it's going to take some time.
Still takes some time. Pradyut Debbarma here, obviously, is always eager to speak, and it's always an honor,
if you don't want me to speak, I'll keep quiet.
to have you. Well, talking politics, Mr.
No,
Debbarma.
yeah, okay, please.
Talking politics, you are known to be extremely close to BJP leaders, both in Delhi
Also to
and
Congress.
the Northeast.
Also to Congress.
Off
I
late
have friends-
BJP leaders.
No, no.
BJP leaders.
I'll tell you something, Navarun. My agenda is to help my indigenous people. And for that, if I have to talk to people from BJP, I will talk to them. I'll have to talk to people from Congress, I'll talk to them. If I have to talk to people from DMK, I'll talk to them. If I have to talk to nobody, if they're not helping me, I'll talk to neither of them. My point is, my agenda is very clear. I have to get my people out of a quandary. I would like to take something off from what Ambassador said. We are talking too much about politics just because 90% of us are politicians here. Progress is very important. And we have to stop depending so much on individual politicians and depend on a system which will always take us out of this rut. Now, you asked a question to Miani. So many chief ministers, and yet Garo Hills is backward. Well, we have a president of India who is a tribal, has the problem of tribalism eradicated. We had a SC as a president of India, has the problems with SC has gone away. We have had Muslim, Abdul Kalam Azad, before that, Fakhruddin Ali Ahmed, has the problems of Muslim gone away. So we have to end this tokenism. I always keep on saying, एक आदमी को आपने सबसे ऊपर जगह दे दिया does not mean that you have solved the problem of the entire community. By giving Sachin Tendulkar Bharat Ratna, cricketers will not suddenly get from Maharashtra.
It's not always about tokenism, it's about leaders rising from a region. Yeah.
Leaders are only as important as the people.
Absolutely. No
so we've
denying
had
that.
some of the best leaders coming up,
Yeah.
and yet the region has remained poor. Bengal has produced some of the, I'm going out of Northeast, Bengal has produced some of the top leaders. Yet Bengal has been absolutely poor. Uttar Pradesh has created some of the tallest leaders. And yet Uttar Pradesh and Bihar have remained poor despite great leaders. So we have to understand at some point, are we only choosing leaders or are we choosing leaders who are going to help the community? So when we come back, so that's where Ambassador has spoken about progress. We pay too much attention to individuals, and that is where our problem goes off. If we have to develop a region, like many of our Pramod has said, we have to agree and we have to be sensitive about each other. Today the name of Dr. Hemanta Biswa Sarma's name has come up. I don't look at him as a BJP leader. I look at him as a person who understands my community's problem. If I looked at him as a BJP leader, then you've already defeated the cause. I need to engage with people who understand my people's problem. So if someone is sensitive, I'm not saying you have to understand 100%. I'm not saying you have to agree with me 100%, but at least hear me out. And the biggest problem is we are talking, we are not hearing each other. The day we start hearing each other, we will become a much more powerful force. This conclave will be outside Guwahati. People from Delhi will come and listen to us. What we need is strong leaders who have spine, who can speak for a region. Someone like Munumo, he writes books. He may be a BJP spokesperson, but he has an independent point of view which is beyond his party. I used to belong to a party, Congress. I spoke out on CAA. I had an opinion. I may be wrong, I may be right. I had an opinion, I articulated it. I've got the rewards. I also got thrown out of the party. But the fact is, it is very important to speak your mind out, because if you are irrelevant to your people and only relevant to New Delhi, then you're not going to be around for very long.
So Pradyut Debbarma is okay with the CPIM and the Congress saying that you are close to the BJP as long as it works for your people, as long as it is in the interest of your people, you need to speak
Nelson
to
Mandela, Nelson Mandela also had friends in Libya, in Palestine. He said, whoever helps my people, I will be with them. America was with Pakistan for so many years. Today we are friendly with America. What is the agenda of America? Their agenda is their people come first. My agenda is that my people come first. My community comes first. I'm not like some of these leaders who change when the power is coming this side. I'm not in the ruling government. I'm not in NEDA. But my point is that at some point, who is more relevant? Your community, your people, or your party? Because that gives you a perks of being in power. Power is not permanent, but people are permanent. And if you want to be relevant, you have to look at the long term, and that is to speak out for the people. And you can do this being in Congress, you can do this being in BJP, you can do it in Pramod's party, you can do it in being a BJP member as a Naga. You can do it. There is no need to be fearful. This is a democratic country, and we all have a right of voice. We have a right of dissent. But we have to be honest, and at least we have to be honest first to our people rather than to those who are seemingly more powerful than us.
Right.
That is what I'm trying to say.
Nabarun, before you shoot your next question, I would like to ask Pramod Boroji. Of course, we would want to hear from you about the development that is happening in BTR. But I am interested in asking you, what do you think is more challenging? You've been part of ABSU, you've been the leader of ABSU for so many years. What's more challenging, leading an agitation or governance?
I won't, find out anything challenging categorically. And everything is challenging.
Okay.
And everything is simple, but it is the course of, human life. Like what he's saying, I wrote a small article a few days back.
Okay.
And in that I have seen the one between two countries, like one country that was enemy in last century, they had become friends in this century. Two communities, they were friends in many centuries, they became enemy in this century, like Manipur he has cited. He has mentioned Manipur, that's between Meitei and Kuki. Particularly the Bodoland is not out of all this, region, I mean the entire Northeast region. Right from British period, the conflict and violence is always there. And government of India, they are working since 1947. My personal problems in understanding that why the leadership failed to understand that we should reach out these communities, we should reach out the issues, and we should have some policy to resolve all these issues because they are in an important part of the country, important region of the country, which is strategic region of the country. And why they fail to think all these, major issues and have some kind of good policy to address those issues in many decades. When our present Prime Minister, he became Prime Minister, swearing and came to Raj Bhavan, then we had the opportunity to meet him. उसमें मैंने बोला था कि मेमोरेंडम लेके गए थे. We had the memorandums, and suddenly it came to my mind that today I won't give the memorandum to Honorable Prime Minister. So it was in my hand, but I didn't hand over the memorandum. So he was standing and receiving all the memorandum. Many delegates came and they went. So when we reached, he just asked the memorandum, and I said, sir, today I won't give the memorandums. So he said that, why? Please give me. Not said, just give me. Then I said, sir, we have given so many memorandums, maybe trucks and trucks of memorandums. But today, something is coming from my mind and my heart that I will request for notice today. Then he said कि बोलिए ना, आप बोलिए, ऐसा बोला. तब मैंने बोला कि सर आप नोटिस को प्यार दीजिए. मैंने उनको बोला कि आप सर नोटिस को प्यार दीजिए, इतना ही काफ़ी होगा, क्योंकि बहुत हम लोग के लिए प्राइम मिनिस्टर ओनली एक सोच है कि प्राइम मिनिस्टर है बोल के, क्योंकि नोटिस से जाके ना हम लोग प्राइम मिनिस्टर को मिल सकता है, ना हम लोग होम मिनिस्टर को मिल सकता है, हम लोग स्ट्रगल ही करता रहता है. देन ही सेड ओके. नाउ वी कैन सी दैट ही इज विजिटिंग नोटिस मेनी टाइम्स. तो उसमें अभी हम लोग का, मेरा जो चैलेंज है वो बाकी लोगों का भी चैलेंज है नोटिस में. तो इसीलिए इंडियन पॉलिटिक्स का जो एक ट्रेंड हुआ, उसमें एक लड़ो और ले लो, जो लड़ेगा उसको मिलेगा. सो ही इज फाइटिंग, ही इज फाइटिंग, ही इज फाइटिंग, एवरीबॉडी फाइटिंग. नहीं लड़के नहीं मिलेगा क्या? तो नहीं मिल के लड़के भी तो मिल सकता है. सो उसको कब सोचेंगे? अभी पूरा नोटिस के बारे में अभी बोला कि हमारे प्रेजेंट सीएम वो सबके साथ मिल चुके हैं, सबको प्यार दिया है. ही हैज काइंड ऑफ टू एवरी सेक्शन ऑफ पीपल एंड सबसे मिला है. लेकिन एक लिमिट तक, कहाँ तक इनको जाने देंगे? मान लीजिए मणिपुर का इशू है, आप कहाँ तक जाने देंगे? क्योंकि वो अलग टेरिटोरी हो गया, मतलब अलग स्टेट हो गया, तो कॉन्स्टिट्यूशनली हाँ दे आर सेपरेट. सो कल मिजोरम में कुछ इशू होगा, अगर इशू बिटवीन असम एंड मिजोरम ही कैन सॉल्व, लेकिन इनसाइड द मिजोरम अगर प्रॉब्लम होगा तो वो कहाँ तक वो जाने देंगे? सो दैट काइंड ऑफ इश्यूज आर देयर वेयर we need separate policy. Of course, our honorable ambassador has said कि yes, government of India they have some policy now. 21 policy, इससे पहले लुकिस policy था, और हम लोग को देखने के लिए डोनर बना के दिया. So they are trying to address our issue through some policies which they think that it is correct for them. But हमारे लिए क्या है? गवर्नमेंट ऑफ इंडिया डोनर नहीं होना चाहिए, हम लोग का गार्जियन है. तो एक गार्जियन, दे शुड नॉट बी डोनर, दे शुड बी गार्जियन. एंड इसको आपका ऑन बोर्ड लेके उसको सोचना चाहिए. एंड दैट ट्रांसफॉर्मेशन आई कैन सी नाउ. सो चैलेंज सबका है, सिर्फ मेरा नहीं है. एक चैलेंज वही है कि लोगों का सोच बदलना है. इफ द लीडरशिप सिटिंग इन दिल्ली और नेशन, उनका अगर सोच बदला नहीं है, अगर हम लोग का भी सोच नहीं बदलेंगे, तो आज के ज़माने में हम लोग कैसे जिएंगे? How we will survive? We don't have good roads, we don't have good schools in many states. अभी असम में बड़ा बड़ा रास्ता हो गया, इसका मतलब ये नहीं है, और त्रिपुरा में भी है, मणिपुर में है, बाकी जगह में जाएंगे तो रास्ता ही नहीं है. So उसके लिए हम लोगों को भी सोचना है, not only the leadership, हम लोग को भी सोचना है.
Yes. Mr. Kikon, the main plank of the opposition in the Northeast against the BJP, the charge has been that the BJP is a communal party, not just Northeast, across the country. Now, opposition has only one thing to say about the BJP, it's communal. Do you think Nagaland is one state where this has been proved wrong? I mean, the opposition's charge, they think they will get away with it every time. But Nagaland, a Christian state, you know the number of BJP MLAs that are there, the leadership, BJP is in government, and it shows that people now across the region enough of communal politics, enough of charges, trading charges. They want the politics of development. That's what Nagaland has proved.
Before I answer that, I want to appreciate what Pradyut said. You know, the challenges that we face in the region may be new to our generation. It's not as if our leaders in the past have not faced those challenges. The reason why the fact that you're calling us leaders, or the reason why we are in the field of representing our people, is because we take ownership of these challenges. I think that's one basic quality that we need to have if you want to address the challenges confronting us. And one very interesting point Pramod ji has highlighted is that we have to look at who we are. If you look at who we are, then we'll take we'll take ownership of these matters that are before us. I'll just give you one example. In the past, and he made a very competitive statement, who thought that today America and China will be competing? In the past, using Upper Assam as their air base in 1941, the Americans came and actually transported ration and ammunition to China to actually throw away the Japanese. Today, the best friends are Americans and the Japanese. And they used our place actually to do that. This is a theater of war. This was a theater of war. Today, it has changed. So, the timeline is very important. Today, the opposition may say this and that. But in a democracy, everybody knows that the electorates are supreme. The electorates, and this is the case in the entire 8 states of Northeast, has responded that the opposition are saying this because they are still living in the past. The reality of today, 2010, I'll tell you one example. As a young leader, I went to a village in Dhemaji called Akajan, by road from Dimapur. I had to travel with my Bolero over a boat from Bogibil Ghat to Akajan for 1 hour. Just a month ago, I went by road. I drove myself from Dimapur to Pasighat using the same road. It took me just 4.5 minutes. I was not speeding, but because the traffic was empty, over the bridge in Bogibil Ghat. Times have changed. I used to go to Arunachal before, in Itanagar and other districts nearby. In the past, there was not even one airport in Arunachal. But we only hear of helicopter crash in Arunachal. Today, there are 9 airports. Can you imagine? I'm just thinking that quality of life has improved. Times have changed. People have responded. So the leadership today is able to maintain its validity and moral authority because it is sensitive to people's need. It is listening to people. Yesterday, I would not have imagined there has been certain political arrangements like NEDA in the past also, during the past regimes. But why is NEDA very effective? Because chief ministers are talking to each other. They may be from different party. Gole in Sikkim is from different party. Conrad Sangma is from different party. Sometimes NPP and BJP fight each other in elections. But why are we talking to each other? Because we have only one concern, to solve the problem concerning our people. I think at the center of today's leadership and their politics is the people that they represent. So I would say that the cries and the issues that our Maharaja has raised is today being addressed. Therefore, there is not much discussion on the strength or the validity of the opposition's issue. Final point to your mention of Nagaland. See, it is not about Nagaland being a Christian state, therefore we have 12 BJP MLAs in Nagaland. That is a logic which is, I think, passé. It's all. Today, people are electing leaders because they realize that harping on what the opposition has been saying for the past so many years will not fit them. I'll tell you, in 2013, my last example, I went to a largest village in my constituency and I went to meet a 80-year-old woman. She told me, don't come to my house. You can't camping here. I don't have drinking water, so you fetch me water from the well, which is like 1 kilometer down. It's like all Naga villages are on the hilltop, right? So go and fetch water for her, because she's a widow, she lives alone. Then only let's discuss politics. 2013. 2018, when I went to her place, she said, thank you, come and wash your hands in my kitchen from the wash basin. Jal Jeevan Mission. I'm telling you, the problem of politicians in all the smaller states barring Assam is that every electorate wants us to pay for their children's school fee. They want us to pay for their healthcare treatment. Today, the Prime Minister has heard our cry. There is Ayushman Bharat. I'm telling you, there is insurance for people who don't have money to pay for the healthcare. And it is happening right in front of my eyes. Why would I not believe as a youth from Northeast?
Yes.
Can I just say some small point?
Sure.
I have to appreciate where there's good work being done. Navarun, you need to say that and I understand why you're saying this. Are you with BJP or with Congress? You're seen with this. When the Udan scheme started, it connected Northeast. I'm also not only a politician, I'm also looking to the field of tourism. Today, I can go to Tripura from Shillong. It takes me half an hour. I can go to Arunachal. It takes me an hour. I can go to different parts of Northeast. Imphal could be once the airport is fully functional in Bodoland area. Why not? In Zero as well, right? So you have to appreciate that. You cannot be opposition just for the sake of opposition. When today, and then if I say that everything was bad before 2014, that is also wrong. So my point is, this is a narrative which has been set somewhere else. We have been neglected as a region for a long time. Somebody else's problem is somebody else's problem. We in our house, in our family, despite our political affiliation, have to sit down, discuss, and make sure that we are ready for when India is going to grow in a certain way, we cannot be left behind. So we have to be positive. And if we put party before our people's interest, and we only blame for the sake of blaming, or we only criticize, or we don't meet publicly, I'll tell you, we politicians, all of us, meet in the evening and we chat and have a good time. In the day, we criticize each other, and you think that we are enemies. There is no enemy.
That's some revelation.
Okay. And film actors, they say, I love you every day, and at night they sit together and criticize each other. The fact is, there is no problem. This is just a creation of not your media, but a certain media that we are enemies. Nobody is an enemy. We all having a channel of conversation. The fact is that we need to also make sure that the agenda is just not only us, agenda is also the people. Pramod said something very important. We all get along with the Chief Minister of Assam on an individual capacity. But if something is happening in Manipur, how much can he tread? If something is happening in Mizoram, if something is happening in Tripura, we have a problem in Tripura. You have to accept that the native people of Tripura have a genuine problem. We have a problem. Now, can I run to the Chief Minister of Assam and say, please solve the problem in Tripura? No. It has to be solved by Tripura state and the government of India. And if the Tripura state is not sensitive to the problem of the indigenous people, then the government of India will have to take view from Pramod, will have to take view from Miani, from Munumo, because they are also stakeholders, from the Chief Minister of Assam, and say, okay, we need to do something more. And that is called cooperation. Yeah. And that is how we can go ahead. Don't call this opportunism. Opportunism is when ये party power में आ रहा है, यहाँ में चला जाओ, ये party आ रहा है, मुझे ये post मिलेगा, वहाँ में चला जाओ. We are not talking about that. We are talking about using the best for the
As
future.
long as it serves the interests of the people, it's absolutely fine. It can, even if it's opportunism, doesn't matter.
No, opportunism is different. Opportunism is for yourself. Being smart is different. I'm not negotiating for me to becoming an MP or a minister. I'm negotiating so that my next generation can compete with everybody else, so that my next generation is ready to face the world. That is called legacy. Opportunism is become a minister.
Okay.
That is not important.
Right.
Can I just,
Sure.
I just failed to make one point, because I think when Ambassador Gautam is here,
Yes.
we have to also use his experience, to give us some insights on this.
Sure.
Because remember, Northeast may be the northeast of India, But we also have to understand that geopolitically it is located in a very sensitive area. We have like 5 international borders. And you may like to think, that it will not affect us. But geopolitically, where we are situated actually impacts a lot of our thinking, perspectives, because we have borders with, for instance, Myanmar, we are having a huge crisis there. And China has always been at loggerheads, or they've always been aggressive. So we have neighbors like that. So sometimes we always say, that we can make friends, but neighbors are given to us by God.
Yes.
So coming back to his point, it's not because he resigned as Congress president I am saying that, but he formed the indigenous party, People's Party, so I can listen to him for 2 hours, even though 10 years ago when he was Congress president, I could not tolerate the same opinion.
Okay.
So I want to say that these 2 factors, because, Professor Mahanta is also here, they can also enlighten us on how geopolitics impact our politics here, whether it does or not, So,
and that needs to be recognized.
No, the final point is, just because a problem persists in the region doesn't mean that our leadership or our people at the helm of affairs are working towards solving that problem. No problem of certain nature can be solved in a day.
Right. Yes. Would like to hear from you, Ambassador Mukhopadhyay, what Mullo Mukikon just spoke about. I don't have to tell you what is going on in this region. Myanmar, of course, a lot of things happening there. How do you look at how things are panning out, and Northeast?
Thank you, Anitam, and thank you. It's been a real sort of privilege to be in this session with so many sort of really grassroots leaders, popular leaders of the Northeast, and I've really learned a lot. And let me just also pick up a little of the points that were made here. I think Mianiji's point about understanding within the region is a very important point. I think Pradyut's point about leadership and people, a very, very strong point. Pramodji's point, about the struggle to be noticed, the struggle for attention, the struggle for acceptance that the people of the Northeast have faced. Issues of connectivity and geopolitics and development that I think Mr. Munonlum emphasized. But I would really like to pick up, to answer your question, to go back a little from something that Professor Mahanta said.
Yeah.
He said that at the time of independence, India was, Assam, or the larger Northeast, was more integrated to the international economy than it is today. And I think there is a very fundamental misunderstanding and problem that we face, which is that it was not the Northeast that was integrated to the global economy. It was a part of the Northeast that was integrated to an imperial global economy. The Northeast was integrated to the regional economy in other ways, through Sadhya, through the Monul Corridor, through many other ways, through Bangladesh, through the Bay of Bengal. Let's not forget that. What happened with the British was that the Northeast became a completely extractive economy. It started off with oil, coal, rubber, rice, and finally tea. Even plantations are a form of extractive economy. Today, 75 years from then, the Northeast is still a largely extractive economy. It is still oil. Timber may have gone, but it's hydroelectricity. Meghalaya exports stone to Bangladesh. New extractive commodities have come up. New plantations have come up. Today, we want to expand palm oil plantation. So I would like to say that this is a completely wrong model that we have inherited and that we continue with. Because what is it? That economy required imported labor, imported management. The labor came from outside, the management came from outside. Yeah. And what have you ignored? You have ignored the human, the cultural, as well as the material resources of this place, which really depend on land, water, sun, and forests and people.
Right.
And that economy is sustained by small farmers. So we talk about connectivity. How much have we invested in the small farmer? We talk about development, industrialization, roads, highways, airports. And surely they benefit everyone, and I'm not against them. But how much? We talk about connectivity. How much do we talk about productivity of the small farmer? What have we done for the productivity of the small farmer? And that is aggravated and accentuated by the fact that the Northeast, is actually not isolated geographically, if you ask me, it's isolated politically, because you have unfriendly relations with all your neighbors. With China, Myanmar, not only for our reason, it was a closed country for a long time. Bangladesh, we had problems with Bangladesh. We have problems with all our neighbors. So, I mean, in some fundamental way, neighborhood politics,
Yes.
has to catch up and has to link with the economy of the people.
Yeah.
And we are talking about the economy of corporates most of the time. Half the sponsors of your event are all corporates.
That's right.
Where are the farmers, producers? And my sort of greatest respect for Pramod Bodoji for bringing up these, grassroots issues, and for Pramod representing the indigenous people of Tripura, for bringing up these people out into the limelight for us.
Yes.
So I think that's the sort of general point that I would like to make.
Right. Before I go to Professor Mahanta, I would like to welcome Nagaland Minister, a popular politician, and known to be the sweetheart of social media, Temchen Imra Along. In fact, we have the next session. Wasbir sir will be hosting with you. Coming back to the panel, Professor Mahanta, do you think politics of identity is having an impact on politics of development as far as Northeast is concerned?
Before answering your question, I'm also addressing to some of the observations made by my esteemed colleagues here. It is important to talk to people, it's important to have negotiation, but I think we have left one point behind, that is the role of institution and processes. Well, I had the opportunity to be part of the government for about 2.5 years. And I have seen in many years how institutions have been nullified and how bureaucracy is important. You may talk about a lot of things, you may talk about leadership. But if institution and the processes are not taken along, I think it is extremely important, it is very difficult to implement the dreams that you have. And Assam, I would say, is the example how those institutions for good governance has been revitalized. And you have talked about identity. I think, again, identity and institution and processes are important. How that identity has been incorporated into the system of Assam, let me give you how innovations have brought about. Like developmental councils, autonomous councils, not to talk about the 6 scheduled councils. So all those innovations have incorporated the burgeoning demand of 64 communities that we have in the state of Assam. So what I would like to say, those identities, if they're properly negotiated, if you have a sense of negotiation with each other, then you can develop and usher in the process of development. And when you talk about process of development, in case of Assam, we have 3 or 4 approaches. The first is eradication of poverty. Second is women issues. Third is youth. Fourth is agriculture. And fifth being the most important issues being given to the issues of health. I do not want to give you a lot of statistics, but these are the 5 pillars. That is the essence of Assam's progressive model. And when we talk about this progressive model, the philosophy that we have adopted under the leadership of Dr. Himanta Biswa Sarma is Antyodaya. What is the concept of Antyodaya? That is to reach to the grassroots level of the society. So it's not just the ethnic groups, but to touch the each and every individual of the society. And talking about even the minorities, even in the minorities where we have the dropout rates very high in education. So we have introduced a lot of innovative mechanisms so that those women who are deprived from education can be incorporated into this developmental model. The government of Assam has introduced 9 law colleges in those far-flung minority areas. And coming to Ambassador's viewpoint, when I referred to the developmental model of the British time, it was not to eulogize the British model, but the spirit that the Northeast India was connected. That spirit of connectedness has been lost during the time of 60s and 70s. That is what is the essence of my argument. And coming to our connection with South and Southeast Asia, we need to adopt a multi-tracking approach. For example, we are trying to connect to the students of Southeast Asia. In Guwahati University, we have one center called Center for Southeast Asia. Ambassador was also there for a talk. And we tried to bring a lot of students from Thailand, Laos, Vietnam, and to our neighboring state of our country of Nepal. What they do is they complete one semester. That is called Indian Studies program at Guwahati University. We transfer the credit to their respective universities and they go back. So we need to initiate through a multi-tracking approach, through education, through business, through connectivity, etc. And that's how I believe our dreams of bringing all those neighboring countries together will be a step forward. That's what I would like to say.
Coming back to the politics of identity part, Mr. Pramod Boro, do you think in the Northeast, in a way, the politics of identity and development go hand in hand?
Yes, it can go hand in hand, but I think it is not done. In the policy, there is shortfall in some, policies in the center as well as the states. So transformation is happening since last few years and decades. Changing happening since last few years or decades. But Northeastern people are fighting for protection of their identity for last half centuries. And what I understand, I'm coming from activist background, movement background. So what I understand, say people sitting in Delhi, their interests are different, and our interests are different. There is no, the matching.
Are we balancing it out? I'll also take a reaction from you.
It is now happening. It is now happening. Some people in the policy making body, they are slowly understanding the issue. The intelligentsia, the people in the policy making body who are the the main stakeholders, they give inputs and they give all the informations and changing happening. Sorry. That's why we can see the present present situation of Kashmir. That's the Kashmir issue is resolved. So it's a ray of hope for us also, because in previous time, the previous government, previous regimes, many times they didn't think that much seriously the present regime thinking, the present leadership thinking. So the leaders are committed, they are very serious, and they have understood the issues and problems. So in Northeast, we have small ethnic groups. They have their own culture and language. And as a nation, the nation interest may be different, but we have to protect this identity and culture. These are the important values, because the UN declaration is there. So everybody, know the what is what, how things are going. If Europe, it can happen. In other part of the world, it can happen. Why not in India? Right. That's kind of thinking coming on.
Yes.
I had to mention 2 points in what Pradutji was saying. That, yes, we have a connection among us, among the movement groups. It is not like that कि we don't have any relation. हम लोग का सब relation है. लेकिन वो relation, वो बहुत अच्छा relation है. वो political level पे है, NIDA बनाया. पहले कांग्रेस का भी कुछ ऐसा ही फोरम था, बाद में निडा बनाया. जब निडा बनाया, that time वो मेरे लिए एक रे ऑफ होप था कि एटलीस्ट पॉलिटिकली कनेक्ट हो गया है, तभी अच्छा होगा नोटिस. फिर मैं डर गया था, आई वॉज अफ्राइड. इट इज ए इम्पोर्टेंट पॉइंट आई मस्ट मेंशन कि एक टाइम पे जब अंडरग्राउंड सब में था, नागालैंड, मणिपुर, असम सब में अंडरग्राउंड था, एंड स्ट्रॉन्ग अंडरग्राउंड मूवमेंट वाज देयर 70s 80s उस टाइम पे. कभी कभी ये बात आया था कि पूरा अंडरग्राउंड लोग एक हो जाएंगे और नॉर्थ ईस्ट का लिबरेट के लिए रहेंगे. अगर ऐसा होता तो इंडिया के लिए बहुत प्रॉब्लम होता. तो उस टाइम बीइंग एन इंडियन सिटीजन और इंडिया का मैं एक मतलब खुद को अच्छा इंडियन मानता हूँ, इसीलिए दैट टाइम इट वाज माय लाइक थ्रेट कि हाउ टू चेंज द माइंडसेट ऑफ द पीपल, लाइक यंग पीपल who are thinking that India is always
media's most loved politicians. Nagaland Minister Temjin Imna Along at the Northeast Live Conclave 2024, February 6th, Guwahati.
উন্নতিৰ বন্ধন ভৰসাৰ বন্ধন অসমত তাৰেই নাম বন্ধন বেংক
Natural origin glycerin-ৰ সৈতে প্ৰস্তুত Savlon Glycerin Soap শীতকালত আপোনাক দিয়ে soft skin আৰু Savlon সুৰক্ষা
Northeast Life Conclave 2024. Supporting partners Patanjali Ayurved, Tea Board of India, X-Tech Steel TMT Rebar, Awesome Assam, Amritsar, State Bank of India, Ratnakuber.
মাত্ৰ এটা প্ৰিয় না চাৰিটা বেলেগ বেলেগ বাৰ হয় সব পোৱা যাব ক'ত ফিয়ামা সেলিব্ৰেশন পেকত কিনো তিনটা পাওকেটা ফ্ৰী
বিস্কুটত কালজিৰাৰ চমৎকাৰ চাল ব্ৰিটানিয়া 50-50 গোলমাল স্যাৰ ৰান কেনেকৈ বনাও
আৰে গোলমাল কৰা
স্যাৰ মাক কিমান ভাল পায়
ইমান
আৰু it is why
Don't miss the gutsy, witty, one of social media's most loved politicians. Nagaland Minister Temjin Imna Along at the Northeast Life Conclave 2024, February 6th, Guwahati.
মজিয়া বনোৱা হয় লৰালি কালৰ বাবে লৈ আহক নিমেৰে প্ৰস্তুত নিমাইল ইয়াৰ 100% প্ৰাকৃতিক ক্ৰিয়াই মজিয়া কৰি তোলে সেফ নিমাইল খুব শান্তিৰ মজিয়া
Inaminadika, Taitamanika, Inaminadika, Dika, Taitamanika, Maganaka, Maganaka, Dika, Picarola, Ricard.
Mishot যেতিয়া আছে latest trendy vibes, তেন্তে ভাবিছে কিয়? Just maximize.
Championing the agenda of Northeast, the chief ministers of the northeastern states on one TV platform for the first time ever at the unmissable Northeast Life Conclave 2024, February 6th, Guwahati.
মাৰ হাতখন সফট আৰু সুৰক্ষিত কৰি ৰাখিবৰ বাবে 90% নেচাৰেল অৰিজিন কন্টেন্টৰে প্ৰস্তুত Savlon hand wash মাৰ হাত দুখনৰ লৈ যত্ন
আপোনাৰ নিমখৰ কোৱালিটি কম্প্ৰমাইজড হৈছে আপোনাৰ নিমখত যদি লেতেৰা আৰু লডা দেখা পায় ভাল কোৱালিটিৰ নিমখৰ বাবে ট্ৰাই কৰক আশীৰ্বাদ নিমখ ই দুটা পদক্ষেপত পৰিষ্কাৰ কৰে ময়শ্চাৰ লক কৰি পেক কৰা হয় যাতে আপুনি লাভ কৰে ক্লিন এণ্ড ফ্ৰী ফ্লোয়িং নিমখ অলপ টকাৰ বাবে কম্প্ৰমাইজ কিয় লৈ আনক আশীৰ্বাদ নিমখ
Political leaders have not been able to convince the pressure groups.
In Meghalaya, we have railways actually
in Garo Hills, yes. The Shillong project is a
but
non-starter.
when we talk about the Khasi Hills area, I think now the railways is going to come to Jaintia Hills as well. But the politics in Khasi Hills have, I mean, if you look at the history, you can see that that has been a big issue, influx. Now, that has been politicized and, you know, because of that, we have lagged behind in so many ways. Now, Garo Hills has it, and now I think Jaintia Hills will be having it soon. So, what we are expecting is that soon enough, people will understand. Now, the biggest challenge that we have as leaders is to create awareness amongst the people. To draw the line where our identity is being politicized. To take away what we deserve, the development that is owed to us, but is being taken away in the name of identity. So that is a challenge for the leaders. So I think the leaders from the Khasi Hills would be able to speak more on that as to why they have not been able to, you know, take people into confidence.
Yes.
Because I'm in the opposition. Even when I was a child, I have seen this issue being taken out of context and, you know, things becoming violent and so on and so forth. So I think Today, people have a broader mindset and they are exposed to a lot more things because of the social media and the internet and,
so we can hope, yes, there will be really a connectivity.
So I think it will be easier if the leaders are making it more effort.
Maybe,
yes,
which can give a boost to tourism.
Yes.
We are running out of time.
Yeah, absolutely.
Quickly going to Ambassador Mukhopadhyay. The situation in Myanmar, of course, it's critical. And how do you see India's response to it? Of course, in Manipur, the state is facing a crisis. What kind of threat does it pose? And should we be more worried about it? Very quickly.
Thank you. I think the first thing I would say is that the situation in Myanmar is primarily an internal conflict. Its external spillover, as far as India is concerned, is still minimal. It's extremely minimal because we are talking at the most of about 30,000 refugees in Mizoram, who are largely absorbed by Mizo civil society and government, not the government of India, and a very minuscule number, probably not more than 2,000 in Manipur. So it's primarily an internal conflict, and I think we have been slow to react. We have been reacting to the Myanmar crisis as though the military will reimpose its rule, as it did after the pro-democracy agitation in 1988. By 1990, they had made ceasefire agreements with the ethnic armed organizations and reasserted control over Myanmar. I think that has been a fundamental miscalculation because over the 10 years of vaguely civilian rule, first under the USDP and then under the NLD, an entire new generation came up that has completely sort of embraced the idea of freedom, genuine freedom and democratic freedom, and also the idea of a kind of federal union for Myanmar, which includes a sort of a fair and just place for the ethnic groupings, and there are a very large number of ethnic groupings in Myanmar. And I think we have been slow in the sense that we have still held on to the view that somehow military, by virtue of its military force, will be able to reimpose control over Myanmar. Today, we face the situation that there is a big question mark whether even if, as and when Myanmar comes out of this conflict, whether it will remain a united country. You might face a balkanized country that is cannibalized by some of our neighbors, and we have been slow in taking on proactive democracy to try and keep the idea of a federal democratic or at least a united Burma possible. And the only way that can be done is through a much more federal democratic approach with a backseat for the military and not by giving the military a kind of predominant place in Myanmar society. Absolutely. That time is over.
All right. Now, Barun, we've really run out of time completely. Thank you, Mayani. Thank you, all our esteemed panelists. Apologies for not being able to give each of you enough time to speak. Of course, we would have loved to carry on this conversation, but maybe some other time in our studios, definitely. And thank you all. Of course, up next is another very interesting session with the Tourism Minister of Nagaland, Temjen Imna Along. Viewers, please do not go anywhere. You can continue watching our live telecast. We are also live streaming across our social media platforms. Please stay on. We will quickly take a break for just a few minutes, and we will be back with this very special session up next. Thank you all.
Thank you. Thank you.
Championing the agenda of Northeast. The Chief Ministers of the Northeastern states on one TV platform for the first time ever at the unmissable Northeast Live Conclave 2024, February 6th, Guwahati.
উন্নতিৰ বন্ধন ভৰসাৰ বন্ধন অসমত তাৰেই নাম বন্ধন বেংক
মাত্ৰ এটা প্ৰিয় না চাৰিটা বেলেগ বেলেগ বাৰ হয় সব পোৱা যাব ক'ত ফিয়ামা সেলিব্রেশন প্যাকত কিনো তিনটা পাওকেটা ফ্ৰী
Northeast Live Conclave 2024. Supporting partners Patanjali Ayurved, Tea Board of India, X-Tech Steel TMT Rebar, Awesome Assam, Amrit Sen, State Bank of India, Ratnakuber.
Don't miss the gutsy, witty, one of social media's most loved politicians. Nagaland Minister Temjin Imna Along at the Northeast Life Conclave 2024, February 6th, Guwahati. Championing the agenda of Northeast, the Chief Ministers of the Northeastern states on one TV platform for the first time ever at the unmissable Northeast Life Conclave 2024, February 6th, Guwahati.
Vandya International School, a premier residential co-educational school located in Guwahati with state-of-the-art infrastructure offering world-class education with qualified faculty from all over the country. With 22 co-curricular activities and 18 sporting disciplines to choose from, Vandya International School also offers air-conditioned boarding facilities. Those interested to join between class 4 to class 12, contact 89180-91939. I repeat, those interested to join between class 4 to class 12 can contact 89180-91939.
Championing the agenda of Northeast, the Chief Ministers of the Northeastern states on one TV platform for the first time ever at the unmissable Northeast Life Conclave 2024, February 6th, Guwahati. Championing the agenda of Northeast, the Chief Ministers of the Northeastern states on one TV platform for the first time ever at the unmissable Northeast Life Conclave 2024, February 6th, Guwahati.
Vandya International School, a premier residential co-educational school located in Guwahati with state-of-the-art infrastructure offering world-class education with qualified faculty from all over the country. With 22 co-curricular activities and 18 sporting disciplines to choose from, Vandya International School also offers air-conditioned boarding facilities. Those interested to join between class 4 to class 12, contact 89180-91939. I repeat, those interested to join between class 4 to class 12 can contact 89180-91939.
Championing the agenda of Northeast, the Chief Ministers of the Northeastern states on one TV platform for the first time ever at the unmissable Northeast Life Conclave 2024, February 6th, Guwahati.
Life Conclave 2024. Supporting partners Patanjali Ayurved, Tea Board of India, X-Tech Steel TMT Rebar, Awesome Assam, Amrit Sen, State Bank of India, Ratnakuber.
Natural origin glycerin और होइटे प्रस्तुत Savlon glycerin soap. শীতকালত আপোনাক দিয়ে soft skin আৰু Savlon সুৰক্ষা।
Sweet, salty, spicy. Britannia 50-50 গোলমাল।
Sir, ৰান কেনেকৈ বনাও?
গোলমাল কৰা।
Sir, আপুনি মাক কিমান ভাল পায়?
মাক ইমান।
আৰু it is wine.
বিস্কুটত কালজিৰাৰ চমৎকাৰ চাল। Britannia 50-50 গোলমাল।
Vandya International School, a premier residential co-educational school located in Guwahati with state-of-the-art infrastructure offering world-class education with qualified faculty from all over the country. With 22 co-curricular activities and 18 sporting disciplines to choose from, Vandya International School also offers air-conditioned boarding facilities. Those interested to join between class 4 to class 12, contact 89180-91939. I repeat, those interested to join between class 4 to class 12 can contact 89180-91939.
Championing the agenda of Northeast, the chief ministers of the northeastern states on one TV platform for the first time ever at the unmissable Northeast Live Conclave 2024, February 6th, Guwahati.
Over to you, Vasbir, and enjoy the session.
All right. I have a very interesting personality right in front of me, who is a senior political leader from Nagaland and a social media sensation. Social media sensation. People say that you are a damn gutsy politician. You can make fun of your own self at any given opportunity. Do you have a role model in this?
Social media and being able to laugh at oneself is actually the best thing that you can do by being in politics. Now, for people to understand, they would understand it. And the role model are all the politicians in and around me, all the politicians that are there. And I think being able to smile and laugh at all those things that they don't smile and laugh is something we ought to do.
But politicians don't laugh much.
Because there is a notion that if you keep on smiling, you are not a politician in Northeast or Nagaland or in India. So I think people try to emulate being very serious. You know, yes, you can call for war by smiling and laughing, but you can surely try to smile and laugh a little bit in and around you.
A social media star, a political leader, a cabinet minister. Do you like this introduction? Do you like to add something or delete something?
A social media star is by default. It is by default. I did not say that I should be a star on social media, but I think the normal people, just love to see a normal, man being a politician and at the same time being a cabinet minister also.
Now, my question is, everybody, I'm sure the audience would also like to know, is your popularity among the youth, particularly ladies, I presume, is it helping you politically? Ladies in particular are extremely fond of you, actually. Am I right or wrong?
See, I think that is right.
That's right.
If you don't mind, Vasbirda, do you know that Narendra Modi ji, the Honorable Prime Minister, is more popular among the women? Don't you think so?
Yes.
Why are you not smiling?
I want you to smile first.
I'm trying to be serious because I've said a name which is far bigger and greater. I might land in trouble tomorrow.
My question was, is your popularity among the youth, particularly ladies, helping you politically or not? Because at the end of the day, you have to win elections.
No, absolutely. Absolutely. I think being young, not too young, but being young, and I think it's a plus point, you know. Many married politicians can understand that.
Right.
It's helping me.
It's helping you.
Absolutely.
Now, suppose you would not have been a politician. What would you perhaps have been?
I would have been a businessman, you know, a social entrepreneur. I would have been a social entrepreneur, for sure.
Right. Now, you are aware or not, I don't know, but you are among the most eligible bachelors in the country today, not just in Nagaland. What are your plans?
I cannot say that yet. I think I have no much plans on that issue because that is the riskiest and the most dangerous plan to ever have.
I can hear a question.
Vasbir is asking the question, not you. Sorry.
But let me repeat that question, which I overheard from the audience. Do you have a girlfriend?
I think I do have a lot of girlfriends.
Mr. Temja Nimna Along is actually a very serious political leader. And I'm going to ask some serious political questions as well, but please don't think that I'm trivializing this conversation. But, have your topmost leaders like, Prime Minister Modi, Amit Shah ji, or Dr. Himanta Biswa Sharma ask you anything other than state or political matters? Has any one of them asked you to get married and settle down?
No. They have never asked. And I don't think that's the, mind block that they have. They have too many other things to tackle with and work with than to see, in such a time when India is increasing in population, to ask one of their cabinet minister of the state to get married would not be one of their, ideas or options.
See the answers which Mr. Temja Nimna Along gives. The seriousness among one of the most witty politicians in the country is reflected in the answer he just gave. Mr. Pradyut Dev Burma is here. We had a long chat last night. That is the reason why I asked you this question, where any of the top leaders had ever asked you to get married and settle down. You have answered that. Now, what does the Nagas and Nagaland need the most today? Because you are a popular political figure. You travel the nook and corner of the state. You meet all the people. People flock to you, actually. People from different walks of life flock to you, particularly the youth. So what, according to you, what do the Nagas and Nagaland need the most today?
The people of Nagaland, as of today, first of all, need to understand oneself and its strengths and its unifying factors first. The rest of the things are always there. Our people are broken in disunity. Our people are broken with, ideas and issues which doesn't help build the agenda. And each one wants to be a leader by pulling down the other one. Whether it may be in civil societies, whether it may be in NGOs, whether it may be in government, or whether it may be in the Naga political groups. So I don't want to land into a controversy, but I want to speak the fact. And the fact is that you can achieve your agenda only if there is unity and cohesiveness in the thought process, even if there may be issues that we may not agree upon. So that is the need of the hour. Remaining, whether it's development, whether it's human resource development, whether it's tourism, whether it's any other thing, is a process which has started in the state of Nagaland since a few years. And we have a good leader in the form of Nephew Rio, our Honorable Chief Minister, and there, our Prime Minister, Narendra Modi ji, and in the Northeast, to curate and guide us all, our Dangoria Himanta Da. So I think things are okay.
You see, I mean, being a leader from Nagaland, I have to ask you this question. The Naga movement started 30 years, at least 30 years before you were born. Now, still we are talking about the same issue. We are talking about solution. Every December we said, oh, there will be a Christmas, accord that is going to be signed, but it never happens. Now, how do you feel as a new generation political leader from the state having to stay with this movement without a solution for 75 years?
See, all youngsters aspire to live in a very progressive state with the progress of its people. You know, the struggle has been very long. The issue of the Naga political settlement has been very, very long. And like all other citizens, I too, as a Naga, as an Indian, as a Bharatiya, aspire to see that come true. But then I have told what I have just spoken a few minutes ago, that there has to be cohesive unity among its people and to be able to focus on the agenda while pursuing that excellence. We cannot blame each other for some things which are not happening immediately, or neither can we blame the government of India, or neither can we blame anyone. It is among us first that we have to come together unitedly with an agenda focus. Then only I think we can see it happen. But I wish it happens today.
What do you do when you get totally frustrated? Because, you see, there are a lot of issues that can make someone frustrated. A lot of youths are frustrated over the lack of a solution to the, long-standing Naga problem. Let's keep that aside. Whenever you get depressed, you get frustrated. What is your way out? What do you do?
Usually I have no time to be depressed during the daytime. So
during the daytime.
No, during the daytime I keep on working.
Yeah.
Meeting people, department works, and assertion of governance. But at night before I go to sleep, I open, Blackpink, Lisa, Jisoo, I watch them and I go to sleep. Honestly, I'm not promoting Korean culture, but watching them gives you mental peace and you can go to sleep without getting married. Dada, I'm telling the truth, huh?
No, there are very few political leaders who, reveal their personal secrets. You are one of them.
But is that a secret to watch Blackpink? No. You should watch them once at least.
But a lot of people will say that, you should look local movies and northeastern movies. You should watch Bollywood. Why are you watching Korean movies or any other movies?
No, it's not a movie. Local movies are too serious. Local issues, I deal with them from morning till night, midnight. Bollywood movies are really good, but somewhere it doesn't connect with us, kind of. It's not that I don't watch Bollywood movies. I love them. But let me explain that to you personally.
Right. We'll have a chat. We'll have a chat after this session and then get to know better. Now, I'm also told that you are a good dancer because someone who was at a nightclub while you were there had told me this.
See,
nightclub.
I mean to say, clubs are not there during the daytime. So, usually in the evening only. And it's not only nightclubs that you go anywhere. Some wedding parties or something like that. And like I usually say, the day I can really dance well, I sleep very well. I sleep very well. And there is another method. You break your back while traveling all the way in Nagaland for many, many hours, kindly try dancing as a session for politicians also, and then I'm telling you, you will be really relaxed. I'm not joking, not trying to
What is the
justify.
genre, your dance genre that you like? Foxtrot?
Most probably, retro is really good.
Retro.
Because it makes you feel good.
The young generation, we have got a lot of students also here. They're also, listening to what you're saying. Now, let me turn to something which is everybody would like to know. There was a question on this in the earlier session as well. How easy or difficult was it for the BJP to make a mark in an uncharted territory like Nagaland? Now you have a dozen MLAs of the BJP in Nagaland, and that is the party you choose.
For the Bharatiya Janata Party, it is not very easy in a state like Nagaland to be able to, garner popular support. But yes, the party workers have really worked hard. At the same time, the people of Nagaland have faith, let me put it this way, in the face value of Narendra Modi, the Honorable Prime Minister. Because he delivers unto its citizens what is being committed. And the poor people who are in the villages, Nagaland is made up of more than 2,000 villages. Let's not talk only about Kohima and Dimapur.
Yeah.
And in the 2,000 plus villages, you see really changes that has happened. Just recently I went to a hospital in Kohima. In the 20-bedded ICU hospital, there were around 11, 12 of the ICU people there. Because ICU means you go in, you don't come out. Or you come out, that's life chance. And I went and met with all of them, and I tell you, they were all, I asked them, how are you making your payments? They said, Pradhan Mantri, Prime Minister, Modi card, health card. They can't pronounce Ayushman card. So, Modi card. See, I'm not here to provocate, but I'm telling the fact. Almost all of them were using the Prime Minister health card. After that, those who couldn't avail were using the Nagaland Chief Minister's, health card. So, good governance, to be able to empower the poorer and the weaker sections of people, have come into being for the first time in a lot of decades. So, there are many more programs like that. And people know that it is coming because of the idea of Antodhya, which in the last session they were talking about our Himantada Dangoria, to the last person standing in the cornermost part of the state or of the nation. So I think that has really brought about a thought process change with the brand name called Modi. And that brand name called Modi is greater than the brand name of any one of us that are there.
So there is no clash as far as, the general feeling that, okay, BJP is a party, that has certain ideology, certain views, certain thought process. It doesn't clash because Nagaland is a 90+% Christian state.
It does clash.
It does clash.
It does clash. It does clash.
Where is the meeting point? Development?
The meeting point is understanding again.
Understanding.
When you talk about the BJP and its leaders, they are devoted Hindus. So also in Nagaland, whichever political party it may be, are devout followers of Christ. Now, the ideology that the Bharatiya Janata Party carries is not to annihilate anybody. Because the best thought process as a Bharatiya, with the majority of the population are Hindus, would think in the way the greatness of the Hindu kingdom would be. In the way, the policies of Antodhya and all are inclusive to us.
Today, as we speak, the entire elected representatives from Arunachal Pradesh are in Ayodhya. 2 days ago, the BJP legislators from Tripura were in Ayodhya. states are going, basically all the elected representatives are paying a visit to Ayodhya because it's a new temple that has come up. Now the point is, Pran Pratistha was done. It was a much hyped event, historic event in the country. Are you planning to make a visit to Ayodhya, either individually or the BJP as a group from Nagaland?
I think the party Karyakartas mostly have plans to go and visit the Ayodhya. And for sure, why not? After the assembly is over and when a great time comes, me and my friends could go and visit there. Dada, the issue is that everyone takes it as a point of contention. Hindu versus Christians or Muslims or not like that.
That's not the case.
That's not the case.
Absolutely, absolutely.
When my citizens, our countrymen, more than 100 crores, when their thought process, their traditions is getting established, it is for us to be happy too. And for us, when we have our Christmas, it is for the rest of the countrymen to also be happy too.
I think that is very well said, extremely well said, Temjan Nimna Along. That is the spirit of India.
Yes.
In reality. Absolutely. Now, I have a complaint against you actually. On ground, that is in Nagaland, you don't speak to Northeast Live much. But don't you think that we are great, although there is scope for improvement, and therefore we should talk to more and more to Northeast Live? Sarah is also here in this hall.
Okay. मतलब आज का candidate with Thamjan Nimna Along गया Jingalala. He is asking all the serious questions. I will.
Sarah, you have heard that. So you have to catch Mr. Temjan Nimna Along as much as you can. Now, has anyone ever asked you whether you are from Japan? You know what I mean. I'm sure you know what I mean.
Absolutely. There are mistaken identities, those things that happen. But just by being fluffy or fat doesn't mean that you are from Japan. I think I look much better and cuter than most of the Japanese sumo wrestlers whom we respect also.
Absolutely. There is a lot of applause on that particular answer. Now, with your style and pan-India appeal, are you a true ambassador of Nagaland? Do you consider yourself and the Northeast as a whole? How challenging is it to represent the region? Because with your appeal, you are at all the conclaves that are being held by the television channels across India. You have really a pan-India. You are among the few pan-India. Dr. Himanta Biswa Sharma is a pan-India leader.
Absolutely.
And I can say that you are another political leader from the Northeast who has a pan-India appeal. Now, therefore, it makes you an ambassador from the Northeast. My question is, how challenging is it to represent the region? What are some of the questions that are asked to you?
It is quite challenging, but representing our people is a great privilege, whether it may be Nagaland or the Northeast. I wish you could have called me to the previous conclave, meeting instead, talking about identity and all those things. I duly respect, that being a vegetarian, being an identity, but I would not concur with that. Not saying no to the person, but it's not about food. If being vegetarian would be an identity, then think about me. Being a non-vegetarian would be another identity then. But identity is our traditional and cultural heritage. And that has, in our own Northeast, we have diversity in it. And when my handsome brother from Tripura, when he speaks about those things, I concur with him. It may be in different political ideology, but we do concur with each other, Dada. Because when the policymakers of the nation make the policies, when they make one policy for pan-India, many a times it doesn't fit into the community here. we are not talking about an individual identity. Being Imna Along is the person, but it's not Imna Along. It's not the individual. Today, Himantata Dangoria, our honorable super CM, I call him, he represents the whole Northeast to the country politically. Today, when we talk about us, we talk about our traditional heritage, which is an identity to be preserved, an identity which cannot be compared to the larger group of the community of North India or South India or Central India. And if they find cognizance in policy making because of their robust numbers, and we don't find place in the policy making because of our few numbers. I just went to the bordering area of Manipur. We have our Maram brothers. They are endangered species, not more than 40,000 in population. Parsis, 1 lakh, they are already an endangered species, but they have great people like Ratan Tataji.
Absolutely.
Now, primitive, and we have been put in primitive groups. And in Nagaland too, we have 17 tribes, but most tribes are endangered species. I may be one of the only living ones like this. I'm not.
Yeah.
So it's important that I think those things are aspired and built.
But I have seen recent photographs of the tallest man in Nagaland who is 6 feet 10 inches.
Yes, he's our Konyak brother.
Have you met him?
I have met him once during a campaign of the party.
Campaign of the party.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Now, you are the my earlier question was, how challenging it is to represent Northeast as an ambassador. My second question related to that is that, you are the tourism minister of Nagaland. Now, we have waited for 75 years, not just Nagaland, the whole of the Northeast, for big industries to come and open shop. That has not happened. People are still dependent on government jobs, and there are small industries taking place here and there being set up. Now, the big question is, can tourism be the only lifeline as far as resource generation is concerned in a state like Nagaland, where also there are no big real industries from outside who have come and opened shop?
No.
Is it okay to keep all eggs in one basket? Like, okay, you depend on tourism, you have the Hornbill Festival for 10 days every year, and that's enough.
It's not like that. Tourism can be one of the avenues. And Nagaland is beyond the Hornbill. Hornbill Festival is a unique festival of traditional, heritage with contemporary settings.
Yes.
And vision, which has come about. But the traditional heritage of each tribe, whether it's Angamis, Aos, Lotas, Kemungans, Konyaks, Chagasang, is very unique in itself. So tourism is one of the sectors we are looking at, but we want responsible tourism to come in. Not come in and dirty our place and go. We want responsible people who want to learn. Experiential tourism, who want to know about us. Not by what you see in the roads in Dimapur or Kohima, but knowing the way we are, the way we live our lives, the way our villages are, the aspirations that our people hold. Our forests, our rivers, our jungles, not coerce them to selling them, but build us together in such an experiential way. And there are many other sectors which are getting developed slowly and steadily. We have faced the battle of insurgency for so many years. Our people have faced, and today also, that is the reason why our people are awaiting for a settlement to come about. So, the people of our nation have to understand the Nagas, the Naga people, because we have not come about easy, Dada. We have not come about easy. I know when I was young, during my school days, college days, bombs used to fall down near my house in the fields because something or the other had happened. And we used to run away from our holidays. So I think instead, Nagaland as a state, and not only Nagaland as a state, even the Northeast as a state, we are so thankful to Honorable Prime Minister Modi for, his Act East policy of engaging with us all the time, of trying to know us, our problems, issues, and never had Delhi been so keenly hearing the communities of the Northeast in such a way.
Now you see, you just mentioned Act East policy, you are the tourism minister. Now those states where travel restrictions are there, Nagaland is one of them, you have the inner line regulations. Do you think it clashes with tourism? Tourism means you want tourists to come in, whether it is domestic tourists or foreign tourists to come in, explore the place, and that is also a revenue earner. At the same time, you have a restriction. A lot of people say, oh, there is too much of restrictions to visit Nagaland, forget about it. Despite the fact that it is extremely easy to get an inner line permit, whether it is online, whether it is offline. But do you think that Nagas needs to be so much of afraid of people from outside going and settling down, because one can easily identify who the people are because of the looks?
No, Dada, it is not only that. Having an inner
Has
line
it become
permit,
irrelevant today?
I
Inner
think
line.
it is still relevant to a lot of extent. Dada, because see, somehow we cannot, build more population. People like me not getting married.
Yeah.
Paiwangji, my senior, not getting married. And many, many people, you may take it on the lighter note. Nowadays, people are getting literate and educated. Women come to, think about marriage after 34, 35 years of age. And men are left behind in that way. But nevertheless, our people are pristine and still need some time. Dada, still need some time. Otherwise, we may land up like Assam of before. Please don't mind. There has been so much of influx. We are afraid, Dada.
No, but my question was that, in Assam it is difficult to distinguish between, suppose you go to a place, whether it is Dhubri or whether it is Barpeta, the physical features are the same, therefore it is very difficult to distinguish who is a foreigner and who is a native. But that's not the case in Nagaland. That was my question, actually.
Dada, see, I agree with you. But again, what I'm trying to say is that our people are still quite naive to the many, thought processes that are very matured for the rest of the people. Our people, example, you go to a village. Our people are very hospitable. Dada, if your vehicle breaks down, they will not just keep on watching. They'll come and help you. Whether the vehicle is made in the wrong way or the right way, they'll come and help you. They'll give you food. They'll make you feel comfortable. They may even take you to their home and say, Aji rati to yate humabi. Kali hi apna jabi. But you know what happens? In there, so many of different kind of thought process comes in. And we are vulnerable people. We are still having a lot of crisis. I was just sitting with the Honorable Chief Minister 2-3 days ago at his home. He has to face so many tensions about, every issue being brought out. Over and above that, if our state becomes, flooded with immigrants, that is going to be a big trouble. So I'm not saying that it is good or bad. What I'm saying is that we need some more time. Yes, ma'am, am I saying correct? We need some more time. Kindly bear with us and help us curate Nagaland and the Northeast in that way and come.
Now, see, we know that you are part of the coalition in Nagaland. The Chief Minister represents a party, NDPP.
Absolutely.
You are part of the coalition, BJP. Now, a lot of people say that BJP has a bigger role to play as far as the resolution of the Naga issue is concerned, because the union government is led by the BJP, Prime Minister Narendra Modi. So there's expectation is more on the BJP. Do you get that sense or not? Because we get that sense all the time that the BJP in Nagaland has to walk that extra mile to convince New Delhi to somehow resolve the Naga issue and bring about an acceptable and honorable solution to the Naga political problem.
First of all, Wasbirda, the BJP in Nagaland is not in any way different from the BJP in Delhi.
Yeah.
The BJP in Delhi has the leadership and has come down to the extent of listening and working together. And the negotiating teams are not talking with us, they are going and talking with Delhi. So kebab ki haddi mein banna nahi hai. Yes, we guide, we can suggest, we can also give some inputs, Nearest to us, Hemanta Dangoria is there, then Amit Shah ji is there, or our leadership. We can give some feedback, but we cannot be part of the decision making.
You see,
in the sense,
right? I take your point there, but you see, any negotiation, when you are negotiating, means it has to be a give and take approach, right? That is what is negotiations all about. Now, if one side says that we want this, the other side said that we are not going to give this, so that is not negotiations. So now, is it a give and take problem? Do you think there has not been give and take in the right proportion? And do you think that is the result, that is the reason why the Naga issue has been lingering for 7.5 decades, retarding growth, retarding development, and making the young people actually frustrated?
Dada, I am not privy to the talks. I am not being diplomatic. So, what is the actual...
Give your own opinion.
No. My personal opinion is that settlement should come about. And both the sides, the government of India led by a very visionary leader, and the aspirational revolutionary group of the Nagas should be able to come together and talk it out. Because the word that we have is talks, not fighting. Because Naga people, Naga youth are no more willing to go back to the past. We want to aspire, build, and work. So I think Government of India is also very serious, and I'm sure that our political groups are also serious to understand that the aspiration of their children are of paramount importance in building its people today.
Right. I will not linger this conversation for very long. Although it is always fun to have an engaging discussion with Temjanimna along with you. Now you see, basically what is happening is a lot of people are saying, I'm not interested, I don't want you to take names. Now, 1986, the Mizo Accord was signed. I was in Aizawl. Lalthan Hawla was the Congress chief minister. His government resigned. Interim government was installed. MNF leader was Laldenga. He was made the chief minister. There was no election. After 6 months, a contested election. MNF won. Laldenga once again became the proper chief minister, elected. Now, suppose an agreement is to take place. This is a hypothetical question. And Mr. Rio has already said that the Nagaland government will not stand in the way, meaning he will also quit, just like Lalthan Hawla did 40 years ago, almost. But Nagaland, the situation is totally different. There are Nagas from Nagaland, there are Nagas from Manipur, there are Nagas from Assam, there are Nagas from everywhere. So will it be cakewalk? Will it be easy for the Naga movement leaders to choose somebody and install as the interim chief minister, should that situation arise?
It won't be a cakewalk. No agenda to be resolved can be a cakewalk. But when the Honorable Chief Minister, and in the Assembly we have passed that, if the amiable solution comes about, and if the Honorable Chief Minister resigns, that means we all resign. And in that issue, there is no issue about a political party. The issue now is about the Naga issue. So if that could bring peace to our people, then let it be 10 or 100 more times, it can be done. And it won't be very easy, because establishing somebody, I think, our leaders are wise, our seniors are wise. We would want to see a transition, if it happens, in the best possible way for the interests of all the Nagas.
I think
I don't know. This is the first time
that anybody has asked you serious questions.
No, candid with Tamjan Imna along और मेरा पसीना छूट रहा है.
No, pasina chodiye. Yeah, I have seen videos where you were cooking, I think you were struggling with a bowl of mashed potatoes, if I am not
Vada
mistaken.
pav.
What was that?
It was vada pav.
So you make vada pav?
I used to enjoy vada pav in Mumbai, so sometimes I thought that, I need to cook and give it to my staff. So, tried it. It was
So
good.
what do you cook largely at home? Do you cook at all?
Sometimes. But yes, I'm a good cook.
So, suppose you get married tomorrow.
I'm not cooking for my wife then.
So people will say that you're a chauvinist.
No. Well, time का बात होता है.
You will not cook for your wife.
Otherwise,
why not?
In this media, if I say that I'm going to cook, every lady who by chance may get married to me will catch your this day's time and say that आपने बोला था media में cook करो.
आपने बोला था media में.
And to make commitment with women, Dada, and not do it is dangerous. That's what I've come to know.
So commitment, you are very diplomatic. You have not made any commitment
Not
so
at
far.
all.
So now finally, what would you like to tell the women and the man?
About what? Cooking?
Your final parting message.
No, be good to each other. Man and woman are meant to be man and woman. Be good to each other. Men are boxed up. Women are intertwined. So, it's good that we live together happily. And for those that are bold and the bolder get married, the people who are not bold like me don't intend to get married too early. Maybe, but then everything if I say in Wasbirji's Northeast Live show is going to land me in trouble after I go out of here. So I have not said anything.
So he has not said anything, but he has said a lot. Tamsin Imna Along, always a pleasure speaking to you. Thank you very much for taking time out, coming
Thank you
over to
very much.
Guwahati for the first ever Northeast Live Conclave. Your presence has really enlivened all of us. And once again, thanks a lot.
Thank you, Wasbirda, for inviting me here.
Pleasure.
And keep watching all the viewers to Northeast Live. It is truly lively. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for the last comment to Mr. Temjan Imna Long. Thanks indeed. Thanks very much.
That was indeed a candid conversation.
Championing the agenda of Northeast. The chief ministers of the northeastern states on one TV platform for the first time ever at the unmissable Northeast Live Conclave 2024, February 6th, Guwahati.
মাত্ৰ এটা প্ৰিয় না চাৰিটা বেলেগ বেলেগ বাৰ হয় সব পোৱা যাব ক'ত ফিয়ামা সেলিব্রেশন প্যাকত কিনো তিনটা পাওকেটা ফ্ৰী
Northeast Live Conclave 2024. Supporting partners Patanjali Ayurved, Tea Board of India, X-Tech Steel TMT Rebar, Awesome Assam, Amrit Sen, State Bank of India, Ratnakuber.
মাৰ হাতখন সফট আৰু সুৰক্ষিত কৰি ৰাখিবৰ বাবে 90% নেচাৰেল অৰিজিন কণ্টেণ্টৰে প্ৰস্তুত স্যাভলন হেণ্ড ৱাছ মাৰ হাত দুখনৰ লৈ যত্ন
Don't miss the gutsy, witty, one of social media's most loved politicians. Nagaland Minister Temjin Imna Along at the Northeast Live Conclave 2024, February 6th, Guwahati. Championing the agenda of Northeast. The chief ministers of the northeastern states on one TV platform for the first time ever at the unmissable Northeast Live Conclave 2024, February 6th, Guwahati.
Vandya International School, a premier residential co-educational school located in Guwahati with state-of-the-art infrastructure offering world-class education with qualified faculty from all over the country. With 22 co-curricular activities and 18 sporting disciplines to choose from, Vandya International School also offers air-conditioned boarding facilities. Those interested to join between class 4 to class 12, contact 89180-91939. I repeat, those interested to join between class 4 to class 12 can contact 89180-91939.
Championing the agenda of Northeast, the Chief Ministers of the Northeastern states on one TV platform for the first time ever at the unmissable Northeast Live Conclave 2024, February 6th, Guwahati.
Northeast Live Conclave 2024. Supporting partners Patanjali Ayurved, Tea Board of India, X-Tech Steel TMT Rebar, Awesome Assam, Amrit Sen, State Bank of India, Ratnakuber. Vandya International School, a premier residential co-educational school located in Guwahati with state-of-the-art infrastructure offering world-class education with qualified faculty from all over the country. With 22 co-curricular activities and 18 sporting disciplines to choose from, Vandya International School also offers air-conditioned boarding facilities. Those interested to join between class 4 to class 12, contact 89180-91939. I repeat, those interested to join between class 4 to class 12 can contact 89180-91939.
Championing the agenda of Northeast, the Chief Ministers of the Northeastern states on one TV platform for the first time ever at the unmissable Northeast Live Conclave 2024, February 6th, Guwahati.
Vandya International School, a premier residential co-educational school located in Guwahati with state-of-the-art infrastructure offering world-class education with qualified faculty from all over the country. With 22 co-curricular activities and 18 sporting disciplines to choose from, Vandya International School also offers air-conditioned boarding